Hey guys, and welcome to my review of Haikyuu, chapter 287. I want to make this one short because I don't actually have too much to say, but I do have highlights, and I just really enjoyed this chapter. I don't think I did a review of the previous chapter, which is fine. It's okay. It's just now one thing I want to mention, because I remembered this when I was reading Haikyuu. I was like half a year ago, or in October or whatever, I said, oh, I think this match is gonna end around November. At the very least, it's gonna be over by the end of the new year. It's almost February, and this arc or match is still not over. I was completely wrong. Obviously we're getting there. We're so close to it. And this chapter seems like we're almost there. But this match is getting a little too long, in my opinion. I say that, but even though I say, oh, it's getting too long, I still enjoy every single chapter. And that's very hypocritical of me saying it's too long when I'm like, oh, the current arc in One Piece definitely not too long, even though there are definitely things that I think are a little bit dragged out. Where in Haikyuu I'm like, oh, it's a little long, even though I enjoy every single chapter. Not that I don't enjoy One Piece, some things could be done a little bit more tightly. Anyway, but I do think, even with the chapter title, this just seems like we're at the third or second to last chapter. Hopefully second to last, because it would be really nice to get a conclusion next time, but it depends on what happens, I suppose. But what I want to talk about is the title of the chapter, which is called Not a Miracle, Anti-Miracle, which it's a parallel to another chapter which is called Not a Miracle? We Don't Need a Miracle? Something like that. Also something miracle. Which I talked about, I think it was when I reviewed the third season of Haikyuu. I talked about that because it was in one of the episodes, because it's one of my favorite chapters, and I completely forgot what it's called. Anyway, I like this chapter and the reasoning behind the title, because this chapter very much was like, this was where Karasuno has taken everything they've learned throughout the series and they're putting it to use. Because Daichi said at some point, I should probably have pulled up the chapter, but he said, we've been in this situation before, we're just gonna keep pushing through. Because they've been in a juice so many times before in this series, where they're always the ones behind, they're always the one a point behind, and every single time, except for, that one match with Seijo, they win. So it's not obviously, they're I don't want to say nervous, but they're not super confident, because Daichi does say my legs and arms are shaking, but still the pressure is pushing them rather than holding them down, because at this point they know they've learned how to deal with this pressure. And I really, really like how they're all so rational in their thoughts, while still being very true to their characters. You have Hinata just, again as always, just trusting that the ball would come to him and just jumping up and spiking. Really, really, really nice how the panel was laid out there when he got the point. I was really happy about that. Tsukishima had another one of my, maybe not a favorite moment, but it was a really, really good moment. The first one where he does his read block, and you see there's light on one side of the court and there's shadow on the other side, because he's determined at this point the ball can come from there because the guy's on the ground and on his knees. So he narrows it down, and then he's like, it'd be really good for our team if I could block this, but because I know I can't, I'll just narrow it down and let Hinata receive it, which is just so nice, because by the end he's like, I'm not calling you a what was the word he used? A fluke, I think. Or in this translation, either way. I'm not gonna call you a fluke anymore. And I just, that was so nice, because Tsukishima is known for insulting people, and we know obviously that he doesn't really mean it when it comes to Hinata, because he's had some, like, throughout this entire second season, he had some like inferiority problems when it comes to Hinata, always being like, oh, but he's so much better and much more talented and blah 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 blah. The only thing I have is like height, and he makes up for it. And blah, blah, blah. But now it's really nice that he's not just like, he's not covering up his own insecurities by making insults. He's just like, oh, you're good. I'm gonna trust you, and I'm gonna trust my own abilities to be able to make it easier on you, because it's the same thing he did with Nishinoya in the Shiro Torizawa game, and also in this game, and probably in other games after the Shiro Torizawa match. So I thought that was really great. And I love Kageyama again in this, just really, really great. Good partnership with Hinata there. Just, it's very, very satisfying when they work together. It was very satisfying, and it really feels like we're getting the climax. I'm still also just side note, I still really love when Atsuma does the it's gonna be great in the end, right? That's gonna look and just be great when you have the, like, just imagining Inarisaki's cheers and then him just going, and then everything going silent. Like, imagine you have like the background music and you have the cheers and everything, there's just so much noise, and then he does this and like everything just goes completely silent. Now, I want that so badly. Like, no music, no anything, just when you maybe can hear someone breathing or whatever, right? I just, can we get the 4th season already? I need it to survive. Anyway, it was a great chapter. I really like how it really felt like they're just using everything they've learned so far to push through in this match. And this again, just, it makes it not obvious, maybe, because obviously a lot of people don't feel the same way that I do, meaning that it's not obvious, and it might not even be right. But it makes me feel more confident in my prediction that if the next match is Nekoma, I do think they're gonna lose. Because it's like, if I can do the comparison to Shokugeki no Soma, I don't know if you read that, but, I don't want to spoil if you only see the anime, but there's a point where one of the characters is like, I'm gonna use everything I have. I'm gonna use everything I've got. Everything I've ever learned, I'm gonna use it here right now. And it's just, after that point, this character is not gonna win. Because if you're gonna go all out now, and there's a better team or a better cook waiting to tear you down afterwards, you're not gonna win that. And I think this is gonna be the same. Because I'm not gonna say, oh, Nekoma is definitely much better than Karasuno, but I feel like just overall, they're a better team. And I feel like because this series is set up in a way that this is not the last arc, like, unlike with Kurumi Basket, where the Winter Cup, or the Winter Tournament, or whatever the fuck it was called, that was the last arc, so it made sense for them to just, maybe not breeze through it, but they won everything, right? I'm sorry, that's not a spoiler because the anime is over and done with it and has been for years. I'm very sorry. Either way, this is not set up like, this is set up as there's gonna be at least another year, and it would make much more sense for me if there's gonna be, like, we're gonna see until the very end of Hinata and Kageyama graduating from high school. Because there's no other reason for us to have been introduced to middle schoolers at this point. Because we're never gonna see them if we don't continue to another year. Characters like Hinata, I've said this before, he needs to go back to his role as a wing spiker. Yamaguchi is so far from the potential of his character that it makes no sense for it to end here. Tsukishima and Kageyama, while they definitely, I would argue, have had the most character development of the entire series, they're still so far from their full potential. And just, yeah. I feel like we also deserve to see Tanaka being the ace of the team over Asahi, because obviously Asahi's not gonna be there after they lose inevitably. And I feel like we should have another match without the Ko. Because I know some people do think that we're nearing the end or whatever. I've seen some people say that, maybe not from my audience, but I've seen it like here and there. So that's why I'm just putting emphasis on the fact that this is not the end. And that's why I think we can afford to lose to Nekoma now, because Kenma is still a second year. And while, yeah, we're gonna lose Kuro, and it would be so nice for Tsuki to win over Kuro, I think we can still have the, what can you say, the kind of Tsuki versus Kuro. Tsuki wins, but overall Karasuno loses. It's like in soccer or in any sport that has a goalie, where it's like the goalie is really good at what they do, and they may save more balls or whatever than the other goalie, but because their team overall just doesn't have as good as of an offense or something like that, like, you might still lose despite one player beating the other player in this defensive position. Do you see what I mean? It would be really nice to have that, because the Kuro versus Tsuki is very highly anticipated, at least for me, and I know I haven't seen this being anticipated anyway, but for me it's very anticipated, as well as having Hinata versus Liev. But I do not see Karasuno winning that match, because we got more years ago, and it would be really, really nice just for them not to win, because the goal from the beginning of the season was get to the spring tournament. Okay, they got there. Then it kind of became, like, halfway through season 1, it became meet Nekoma at the Orange Court. Okay, we're gonna meet Nekoma, but like, obviously you don't have a goal not to win. You obviously always want to win, but because that was not set as their goal, like, their goal was fight against Nekoma. That was it. They never set the goal of win against Nekoma. I mean, Hinata might have, Kakiyama might have, but that was never implied to be the goal. And I think it's very nice for them to have met the goal, especially for the third years who really wanted to make it to the spring tournament, and they got there, and they have gotten great results. But because the goal of defeating Nekoma right here at this moment has not been as prominent as I think it could have been, I just don't see them winning. Also because I feel like it would be a bit disappointing for me if they won, just because in all the time they fought against Nekoma, they've never once won. And I think it would be so unrealistic if, like, oh, but the first time they win is the one time it actually counts. That feels like a bit of a crap out to me. I'm not saying that Karasuno hasn't improved at all, but I'm just saying Nekoma can also improve. So it makes more sense for me that Nekoma wins. Obviously, you feel free to disagree. I think there's a good case to be made for Karasuno winning against Nekoma, because again, it's a highly anticipated match. There's a good case for Tsuki, maybe not conquering Kuro, but definitely using everything Kuro has learned against him. There's also the argument to be made that Haikyuu is very much a show about how you shouldn't let things that can seem like just like a physical disadvantage or a disadvantage to get to you. Like, Hinata may be small, but he can still win against Liev, who is like 2 point whatever meters tall. So there's definitely a case to be made the other way around. I feel like it'd be kind of cheap for them to win against Nekoma. I mean, it also depends on how it goes down, and for me, it would just further the story much better if they lost. Yeah. This is now 15 minutes long, and I was like, I'm gonna keep this to 5 minutes. Did not happen. Anyway, leave a like if you liked anything that I had to say. Leave in the comments below what you thought of the chapter. Do you think this match has been going on for too long? Because I feel like, just shortly again, because I feel like every single chapter I have enjoyed, except for like one, I think, which I also skipped reviewing. Not this one though. It was like a month ago. But that was just because I didn't care about the backstory. But I think I don't think I'm gonna enjoy rereading this arc or match as much as I enjoy going back to reread the Shiratori-sama match or the Datako match. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Like, do you find this match rereadable? Do you think like there have been a lot of chapters that you could have done without, or it could have been shorter, or because this is very long. Like Shiratori-sama was much longer, but I was also a 5-set and kind of like, you know, the climax of the entire arc. This is the second match of the arc, and definitely not the end. So, although I might be wrong, I think if this is the end, if Karasuno ends up losing this, it would all have been. I think it becomes more justified why this arc was so long, because the entire time I've been saying, oh, they're definitely gonna win. And if I end up being wrong, I think that would also be satisfying, but I don't think I am. Not this time. I think there's a bigger chance of me being wrong about the Nekoma thing than this, I think. Anyway, leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you want to see more, and until next time, bye.